Hello world, and welcome back to the Dweebitron channel. In this episode, I want to give a brief update on me and my work, a quick update on the shipping situation, an introductory bit on Blenko Glass, and finally we will do a bit of thrift store shopping. So what has been selling lately? Well, the list looks very similar to the items in my last video. I have been selling a healthy assortment of beer cans, booklets, bottles, pottery, glass, and yep, sunbeam parts. Let's do the Dweebitron update. You may have noticed that it is taking me longer these days to get out new videos. The truth is that with rising costs and diminishing returns, I have been working on finding new revenue streams and spending much of my free time doing so. In other words, job hunting. Once I get more work, the odds are high that my Dweebitron work will slow down even further. My work with collectibles and old stuff in general is truly my passion, however, and that has been a lifelong passion, and it is not going away. I will continue to work on my eBay sales and my Dweebitron videos no matter how little time I have left over to work on it. So a big thank you to all you for subscribing to my channel and participating in my journey. I will keep plugging along at it no matter how much I have to slow it down. Thank you very much for being here. Now for the shipping update. In my last video, I was in a panic over the recent hikes in shipping charges, and rightly so. Shipping charges have gotten out of hand and generally unmanageable. I did want to point out that there is a service now available that I never noticed before. It is called Parcel Select Retail. I tried to do some research and find out how long this service has been available, but I was unable to find that info. I don't think this service has been around very long, but the good news is that with large heavy packages, this is a considerably less expensive way to ship them. If you are shipping large packages and using Parcel Select, I would urge you to compare the Parcel Select retail rates with the Parcel Select rates to see which one will save you and your customers the most money. With many of my listings involving large items, this rate costs for my customers almost in half, so check it out. So let's talk about Blenko Glass. Blenko Glass Company is a family-owned company that has been producing pieces of art glass since it was founded in 1893. It resides today in Milton, West Virginia, where it has been since 1921, and it is still producing quality art glass to this day. Now, I am by no means an expert in Blenko Glass. It would be a tricky subject to master, as they have produced thousands of different items over the years in a huge palette of different colors. Further complicating things is that very little of it is ever marked, although some pieces are, and you can find pieces with Blenko stickers, provided no one has removed them. Also, the huge success of Blenko art glass over the years means that rival companies have copied the more popular forms, meaning that lookalikes abound. Being able to identify a piece of genuine Blenko is practically an art form in its own right. Fortunately, there are plenty of online resources out there ready to help. You can find all the Blenko catalogs back into the 1950s, you can find color charts, and you can find discussion groups that will help you figure out what you've got, and much more. Becoming familiar with Blenko's work can be quite profitable. The fact that so little of it is marked means that you can find pieces at garage sales or wherever for ridiculous prices compared to what you can get on the secondary market. I sold one decanter for over $400 that I picked up at a garage sale in Tacoma for just $5. Most pieces won't go for that much, but some will, and some will go for much more. Over $1,000 is not unheard of for the right pieces. Alright, let's do some thrift store shopping. The first store I checked into was my local Deseret Industries store. This photo is from the collectible case, and it demonstrates an important principle in thrift store shopping. You see, I am not shopping for items that the seller thinks are valuable. I'm shopping for the items that the seller thinks are not valuable, and this showcase illustrates that point. For example, I am not looking to spend $20 on a sugar bowl with no lid on it, or $28 on some Coke glasses that may or may not be from the 1960s. Honestly, I think they look newer than that anyway, but at that price, I'm not bothering to check. This covered butter dish lid is not EAPG, but instead was sold by Avon in the 1980s by the Bazillions. They want $12 for it, but I couldn't even give that away for free at a yard sale. This little green basket is actually a nicer piece. It was made by Fenton in the 1960s, but it is in what is probably the least desirable color right now, and it is so common I'm sure I'd have to practically give it away to sell it on eBay. Also, they didn't put a price on it, but the fact that it's in the collectible case means they will most likely want way more for it than I would ever pay. This This jamstand is an authentic piece of EAPG glassware, but a rather plain pattern that I don't recognize. And $10? I'm certainly not going to get $100 for it anywhere in today's market. And as you'll see, this store routinely puts out nice glassware for super bargain prices. I'm not really sure why they thought this piece was so special. Let's move on. Here's a nice pair of elegant glass era candlesticks. They want just $4 for the pair, which is undoubtedly a decent price. I don't recognize the pattern though, and they are pretty heavy, so they would not be cheap to ship. I really like them, but I'm going to pass. In reviewing my recording, I noticed this piece. I wish I had checked it out, but apparently I didn't notice it. Maybe because of the cup sitting on top. But this demonstrates the principle of looking for old glass in a thrift shop. Look for pieces that are not quite clear in color. See how this one is a bit more pinkish gray than clear? That's not proof that it's old, but it's a good indication. I should have checked it out. Here's a pair of round Heisey Crystalite candle blocks, like we talked about in the last video. See how they have a nice polished base on them? But I still don't need smalls right now. Here's a Craig 8-track player by Pioneer. This was a good quality player in its time, and this one is in great shape. I looked it up and they are selling pretty well for around $75 or so. But they want $15 for this one, and it weighs about 1,000,000 pounds, so I'm not feeling it right now. If I spotted this at a yard sale for $5 or less, then I'd get it. Here's a nice little EAPG berry bowl with gold trim. I don't recognize the pattern, but it has a couple of chips on the rim, so it can stay here. And right nearby, a nice little EAPG bowl. I don't recognize this pattern either, but it's in good shape. For only $1, I should have brought it home, but for some reason I didn't. I guess because I have so many smalls to list already. And here's yet another piece of gold trimmed EAPG. It's a creamer, but it has really worn green stain and they want $3. So no. This swan is a nice piece from Duncan & Miller's Sylvan line, but it's huge and not too hard to find, so it's staying. Finally, I found a piece that I liked. This is an EAPG banana stand in perfect condition for $2. I couldn't leave that behind.
There's always money in a banana stand.
Next, I went to another thrift down the street, and the first thing I spotted were these cream soup bowls. Cream soup bowls always have 2 handles on the sides and can be found in both pottery and glass in many different patterns. Also, they almost always came with an underplate. Here are a few examples of some that have sold recently for a decent price. Anyway, these blue ones that I found are made by Hazel Atlas in their modern tone pattern. A little research showed me that these were made in 2 different styles, with both plain and ruffled rims. Both styles sell through pretty well, but they would sell through even better if they had the underplates. It was a close call, but even though $1.99 is a pretty good price, I decided to pass on these for right now. The next thing I spotted was this whisk attachment for a KitchenAid mixer. I used to sell these as easily as Sunbeam mixer beaters, but now they have newly manufactured replacement parts available for the old mixers, so the price has taken a nosedive while competition has increased. Since they want $4 for this one, I'm going to pass. Here is a large covered cookpot by Guardianware. Guardianware was an extensive line of aluminum cookware that was available from the 1930s until the 1950s. It has become quite collectible if you can find pieces in good shape. You can find lids made from both metal and glass, and the glass lids are especially desirable. This particular lid alone will sell for $60 to $80. I almost bought this, but the fact that they want $20 to start and that it would be expensive to ship means that my margins would still be pretty thin, so I passed. If I found this at a yard sale price, I would snap it right up. Here's a nice big serving bowl that looks like it is probably EAPG. I don't recognize this pattern, and it isn't overpriced, but I have plenty of mystery pieces to work on already, so I passed. If you recognize this pattern or maker, please let me know. I'm always eager to learn. And what's this? This is one of the shapes that I memorized from the Facebook Blenko discussion board as one that I should get if I see it. Let's see. Great condition, great price, and a great color too, actually. Yep, can't leave that there. I ended up selling it for $88.75. Well, that wraps things up for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me and watching to the end. Until next time, remember to take good care of each other, and I'll see you then.